Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
You know, the message this week, I really, really, really struggled with it. But it's not easy to expound the truth of the Torah when we're living in a world that is so anti-Torah, and where there are so many theologians, so many sages, so many wise, self-proclaimed prophets and wise people who come with loads of years of experience and background, but the most important thing is to go back and look at the simple words the Torah is teaching us. That's why we read it every week. And from the very beginning of my life, I always wanted to see what was the root of things. You know, when I was in my early 20s when I worked in the hospital, and I used to see them always treating patients with either drugs or surgery. They never said, what's causing this? And that's the way we live in this world today. Everything, we put Band-Aids on instead of going back to the root. The Torah gives us the root. It took me most of my life to find it after going through so many things. And when we read the Torah, it's amazing to me, after reading it now for 35 years, I'm still finding new things in it. I'm still seeing things that I never saw before. Like even the fact that it said, Moses blessed us and said, may you be like the stars in the sky, or you will be like the sands of the sea. If we look around, there are billions of people who are not Jews, not Israelites, and we're only maybe 15.7 million of the whole planet. That's what they say. But is that true? You know, we've been dispersed throughout the world from the first exile into Babylon. And there, many of our people were lost, were converted to the people of the land. Our women have been raped. We've been intermarried. During the time of Hitler, Jewish children were hidden in Catholic institutions. So we've really lost, we don't even really know how many we are, but God does. And we are dispersed everywhere around the world. But the issue is not how many, because truth is never measured by the number of people who believe in something. Truth is ultimate truth. There is only an ultimate truth. Otherwise, truth becomes subjective. It's my truth, which is what's happening today, my truth. But there is an ultimate truth. And when we find it and when we apply it, so really our people are scattered everywhere in the world. I don't know if I'm really descended from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I don't know. I may have been, maybe my great grandmother was raped by a Cossack, and and here I am. I don't know. Some of you, but the issue is God walking with us? Do we believe in Him and in His word? Are we willing to give up everything to follow Him? Because there is no other way. We have to, and that is sometimes looks like a sacrifice, but it's not. It's actually ends up being a wonderful blessing. So it was, to me, I loved the message. It was hard to do, but it was a beautiful message from Moshe. Any comments? Yes, Mauricio.
Well, I want to give some comments because I gotta leave early today.
Oh yeah, Mazel Tov for Pablito for his birthday.
Yeah, Mazel Tov to Pablo. Right now, I believe he's receiving some visits. But thank you for the video, by the way. He really loved. Okay, yeah. But I loved something from the message you wrote, and this is that there are some things or some situation that conduct us to from 11 days process to 40 years process.
Tell me about it.
And that's because bad decisions in our lives.
Yes.
Right. And that is true. sometimes what in God's mind, there are some process that he look to us, and he could see the potential we have. But the problem is that in this portion talks a lot about a king, which is the Og, king of Bashan, right? And talks about the Rephaim, right? And talks about some giants in the land. Okay, there are many discussions from scholars and from sages in the Talmud, and some even are, I would say, stories like a kid's tale. Okay, because for example, they say, oh, what the flood uh, water just reached his ankle, and so it's a big, or he took a mountain of 3 miles and throw it away. So that is more like fantasies. But at the end, there are no proof, okay, of these giants. And we read that in this, it says that there were a bell, okay, of more or less 8 meters to 6 meters wide. It's 8 meters long. So that can give us the idea that he was a giant. But there is something behind all this, because when I was reading and studying this week, is that the word Rephaim means shadows. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. So, and the shadows refers to dead people. Okay. Because in these cultures, they were uh, worshiping this to the death. Okay. These shadows, like a phantoms, okay, that are not real, but they believe in those. And according to some scholars, says that it says that was this king of Bashan, the Og, he was on the bell, but never said that he was alive. Okay, it's like only bones were there. Because if you worship the death and you worship the shadows, then there are some cultures that they take strength from these believings, and they use to intimidate other people around them. But this is a fake, is not real. Okay, and this is the problem. And when we link these words to associate these words to the beginning, that Moshe start to say, "Do not be afraid." Okay, and then we associate with the shadows. Okay,
Can I interrupt
then
just 1 second?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
if you look, if I'm standing and I'm short, I don't feel short, but I am short. But if I stand, my shadow is 3 times the size of me. So it's like a giant.
yeah,
And people would be more afraid if they see my shadow than certainly looking at me. Because, and
yeah,
remember, he said, we seem like grasshoppers. We thought we looked like grasshoppers. They never said that. We build up all this in our own mind. Fear is in the mind.
yeah. No, and you can compare today. For example, if you go to basketball player of NBA, and then you stay across him or in front of him, then you will look like a grasshopper.
Right.
Uh, but he's a not yeah, they are
Yes.
tall today,
Yes.
not giant, but they are really tall. Uh, in 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 but there is something about this in the shadows that means gossip, because one person starts to see, oh, I saw two persons very tall. Then comes another one and says, oh, there were many.
Right.
They are adding something
Right.
because shadow means it's not really clear.
Right.
And then another one start to say, oh no, there was a people and there were only two.
Right.
That's a fact.
Right.
So the fact and the shadows, there are difference. And then we realize that if Moses said, do not be afraid, is because he, with there is something in your conscience, and it's a fact that is in your mind. Okay. Uh, and this is the problem. Yeah, there are bitachon in the middle, but the problem of the bitachon is that you allow that the fear takes control of your life, and you are not able to see the facts. Okay, you only start to see the problems, not
Right.
the opportunities.
Exactly.
And so in you know today I can see this kind of um, imagination in our society. People continually is talking about fear. They are spreading the fear between all people. And there are people that they are not happy if they do not contaminate another person's with their fears. Oh, the economy is so bad. Monday economy was very black Monday. So what they are selling, fear. Okay. Oh, the hurricane will reach our coast this week, and then all people goes just to buy things that they do not need really, and there is not a fact. Okay, I'm not saying, oh, stay like it's a rainy day. Okay, no, it's a tornado. It's a problem of that, and they the the caution. But the problem is that when we stop to believe that God is protecting us and give us a capacity to solve problems, then we start to have all the problems that Moshe start and refer. And this is also something interesting because start to say Moshe some places that do not really exist, but he is referring to that people that could understand that he's pointing to some mistakes, okay, of them, okay, and this is something I really love because Moses is not like um, pointing the persons, okay, the mistake. Oh, you did this and you are the worst in the world. No, uh, even to remind them their mistakes, he has compassion. Okay, not to forgive them in the sense that, oh, you didn't do nothing and everything is clear. No, just to remind them, be careful to the land you are entering. Do not make that same mistake. For example, if I go to, I don't know, it's like, for example, when we remember some place, for example, if you went to with your family to a place in the past, okay, probably a garden, and then you make a mistake. You crash a car, or you hit a person, or you shout to anybody. Instead to say, oh, Mauricio, you did this. Okay. It's like Moses saying, oh, remember that the problem we have in, I don't know, I would say in Manhattan. Okay. Because probably everybody who lives with me and know my situation probably knows that in Manhattan I made a mistake, a big mistake.
Mhm.
Okay. But in this case, Moshe is not destroying me like a person. Okay. So this is so nice because again, okay, if not, then you are making that grows the shadows in your life instead to lift you up. Okay, he's destroying you. Um, in for example, start to say that in the Bamidbar, in the desert, remember what you did. Okay, in this case, what is referring when people start to talk about against God, then it says the in the other side of the Suf, of the Suf, that is the Yansuf, when people start to cry against God, okay, because of of things. In the problem they have with, for example, in the lands of Moab, okay, remember, as well, the problem, it says the problem of Paran, referring to the spies. Then you start to talk about Tofel and Laban, okay? Eh, And Tofel and Laban is talking about the manna when they start to accomplish against God, to say, oh, why we are eating just this kind of food, okay? Then start to say Haserot, that means Korah, okay? And then that is Ahab, which means too much gold, what is referring to the
Golden
golden
calf.
calf. Yeah. So that is something that needs sometimes some wisdom to talk, because we don't want to put in our loved ones shadows. We need to lift them up. And then also, uh, there is something I love that you mentioned this week. Okay. Um, when it says, um, when okay, when it says, okay, do not fear or be discouraged. Yet our nature is to begin each day afraid and discouraged. Yes, that is our nature. And but the point is, okay, how do we decide to live?
Mhm.
Okay, because I've seen many people during so many years in drawing in the same glass of water.
Mhm.
Okay, and you want sometimes to take them from this glass of water and shake them. Okay, but uh, they just cannot.
Mhm.
Okay, because when the fear takes the control of your mind, then you are not able to move. And when you are not able to move, then your body, because I look into this with my dad, okay, there is no movement, then there is no life. okay, you start to lose your, for example, if you don't go to walk, then suddenly you will start to feel pain in your legs, in your shoulders, in your back, and things like that. So,
And if we allow the fear to take over, which many people do, unfortunately, we don't realize the level of the power of the unconscious mind. And I learned that during the time when I was learning about hypnosis. I remember seeing a hypnotist on the stage, and he put them into a state of hypnosis, which means he allowed himself to give his will over to someone else and to believe what this person would tell him. And that person was given an onion to take a bite of and told that this was an apple. And the onion actually tasted like an apple. That is the power of the unconscious mind. So we can, and what the world does today is when somebody is at that level of fear and anxiety, which they've allowed to take over, then the medical system, or I'm almost afraid to say that because they won't let me publish this on YouTube. Anyway, what happens is that they put a Band-Aid over, they give it a name. It's now become an illness that the person has, and this pill will work for that illness instead of going to the root again. And that's a very difficult thing to do, because the person needs to be willing to open up. And it sometimes is just going to take a supernatural movement of God's hand to do that.
Yeah, I was going to answer that too.
Yeah.
And it's so true. But God himself, in on the whole portion and everything we read today, it didn't say, it said, God said, I will, I forget how he put it, but basically, even I will allow you to see how righteous I am. It's not we're going to struggle, but you have to be willing to see, but
Exactly.
God does that work. But even with intense fear, which I know very well, and Baruch Hashem, I'm getting better, in part of your brain, the amygdala, actually changes with very intense fear. So it becomes a circular thing. And that's when you can't change it. A person can say, well, don't be afraid, and even fear is from us.
Right.
There is a thing with intense fear. If people haven't experienced it, you just don't know, but it's there. And I know, I think, who you're referring to. And they have to, at that point, I believe, because I had to do it, is say, God, I'm drowning in a fear, and I know it's even changing my brain. Please help me, because it's not something where you could say just, oh, get over it, or you can, all these cliches.
No.
It's so deep that it actually changes your brain.
Yeah.
So God, the speck of faith that it takes just to say, God, I'm drowning in it. I can't change my brain. Please show me a way out of this. God will do that. So all the cliches, even everything we're reading, you have to get so deep to do, and God can only go into the depths of your pain.
Absolutely, Miriam, you're right, because I know even like what you said, Mauricio, we make bad decisions. And for the first half of my life, I made a lot of bad decisions. I learned back as I go back to each of those places, which God brought me back to. Once I got to the point where there was nowhere else to go, at that point, I was willing. I had been humbled enough, and God said, okay, you're ready. And he stepped in and he changed my life. I could not have done it.
I'm trying to tell that to my brother.
Yeah.
He's getting better slowly, but when was in the depth of his pain, he couldn't even really hear your words. He was just swimming in his
No, you can't hear. It's like you're in a fog. It's
a fog.
Yeah.
But if a little dot inside you, I remember at the worst when I was going through the horror, at the worst, there was that little dot inside me, and I said, God, don't let me drown. And that's all I could say. Help me from drowning.
Right.
But that God will do that because we're
Yeah,
not
I
capable.
remember I raised my hands without knowing that I was speaking to God. I raised my hands to the heavens. Help. That's all I had to do. And God stepped in. It's amazing because he's waiting. He's constantly waiting for us to just
Yeah, and
acknowledge and be ready.
right.
Yeah.
Another
And
thing
nobody can convince you to do that.
No, yeah.
We are not
There has to
salesmen.
be, yeah. There has to be, even if it, like, remember when Yeshua said the mustard seed, there has to be something. It's not even, you may not even know, but there's got to be something in you that's, isn't arrogant. That's really, to me, even
Yes.
if you don't believe in God or you don't know who God is, whatever, something in you that allows you to say help. There were people, I once met this man, I liked him a lot. I was attracted to him. And I remember he said, what did he say? The pride was so overwhelming. I was almost shocked. He says, nobody will ever tell me what to do. And he was so proud of his own pride. Nobody can ever, but I don't remember. The words were more than that. And like, there was such an overwhelming lack of humility. So it just takes a
Well,
dog.
we have a friend like that who said, I will never surrender. She smoked 2 packets of cigarettes a day. She was an alcoholic. And then doesn't matter what we said to her, she said, I will never surrender. And then what happened to her? But she knew God. And then
Well, she had a dot of,
she had it. Yeah. She had a dot, a mustard seed. And
right.
God allowed her to have a stroke that was so bad that she could no longer drink and she could no longer smoke. It was taken away from her and she's
Yeah.
still alive today. But that attitude, I will never surrender, comes directly from the spirit of Pharaoh. And that
Yeah,
we must
yeah.
not allow
And
that
we
ever in
all
our lives.
have it to a different, greater, but I was so shocked at his arrogance. It had nothing to, I didn't want to preach to him or anything. Just anybody on the street. Some people have such an incredible arrogance that they can't even ask for help. Another thing about today, at one point, when God says your sacrifices are
Your new
meaningless,
moons and
your
your
new moons and
Shabbats.
all these things, and like it's not that they didn't perform these things, because it said at some point you perform these things, and it made me think that sometimes when people perform rituals, they think it's the ritual that's going to save them or whatever, like a sacrifice, believing that somebody's death could take away your sins. And, so it wasn't that they believed, in a way, to me, the way it sounds like, they believe that the sacrifice is going to help them. I mean, even not only the Christian, when I'm talking about Christianity, but anybody, people in the desert, when they sacrifice, some of them at that point, they were maybe proud. We made all the sacrifices. We kept the new moons. We kept the Shabbat, but they thought maybe that was good enough. It's not keeping the Shabbat. Like, if sometimes I pray to God because I feel I'm not honoring God the way I keep the Shabbat. But some people say, well, I keep the Shabbat. What does that mean? Okay, you don't go to work, you don't do this, but your heart, you're treating people at work or whatever. It's not just that you're keeping it. Keeping the Shabbat doesn't mean anything. And so when God said your new moons and your Shabbats, that they kept them. He didn't say you don't keep the Shabbat. He said it's the way you're dishonoring the way you. It just made me think that even myself, I have to apologize because, sometimes I'm thinking about other things. I remember that I have to cook a soup and I didn't put enough beans. Like all these things, I have to remind them, please, God, help me to honor your Shabbat.
Yeah, because if you take a look at today, how Shabbat has become in itself almost an idol.
Yeah.
And the things that he says, I can't stand your new moons and your Shabbats. It's not that,
Right.
but what's happened is that then Christianity came along and said, you see, God doesn't want us to keep Shabbat or the Rosh Chodesh anymore. It's
No,
not
but
that.
that's the whole point.
It's how the religion has made it. So many extra rules and regulations. And Yeshua said, you run and you make one proselyte. You go miles to make one proselyte, and you put such heavy burdens on him that you yourself cannot bear.
Right.
That's not what God wants. He told us, learn to do good. Take care of the orphan, the
Right,
widow, the children.
exactly.
Be just, justice for everyone, not just for the Jews, justice for all people, the stranger living among us. The religion, that's his religion that he wants from us. That's
Right.
what he wants us to live every day.
Right.
Yeah, just a commentary about that. This week, I just looked an interview with a Hasidic man. Okay, it's incredible. They are married, but they are not living in a family. Some of them, I mean, some Orthodox, really Orthodox, yeah, probably they could have good intentions, but you know, it's not what God has commanded us. Okay, and they are praying or studying the Torah all day since the morning. They live literally in the yeshiva,
Right.
and then just to sleep, they just put their elbows on the
Yeah.
bureau, and then
It becomes an idol.
yeah. So that is not the kind of life I think God desire for us. Where is your family, for example?
Right.
Where is your production? God says, keep the garden product in the
Right.
garden. Not so that is taking us, and that's because of men's rules,
Right.
and you know, and this is very sometimes the way we could understand that it is a rule from us or from God is to by reading the Torah, and that is very important.
Let's see.
By the way, I just want, and Pablo is here, and he wants to thank.
Pablo,
Hi, Pablo.
felicitación for your graduation,
Sí, sí.
Thank you.
and happy birthday
Birthday
to you.
To you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
Birthday,
dear
dear
Pablo.
Pablo.
Happy
Cumpleaños feliz. Yeah.
what, 17 now?
No.
No, 18.
18. Wow, I was engaged at 18. Don't do what I did.
You know, today he tried to become a citizen because today we went to get his ID from government, but he couldn't because today is his birthday. So from Monday go and on, we can go. But right now it's a time to take responsibility. I told to him.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Actually, it's at 13.
Yeah. I
Feliz
know it's
cumpleaños.
actually.
Yeah.
But now he's a citizenship. Okay,
Exactly.
from this
Well,
country.
I think he has a good somebody good to follow. He has a father who can teach him the right way and the right principles. And you may not realize that now, Pablo, but let me tell you, when you get to be older, you will appreciate it more than you realize today. So you're very blessed. Yeah. So have a
Yeah.
wonderful day with your friends
Yeah.
and your family.
Thank you. I'm going to eat pizza
Oh, yummy. My favorite.
Yeah.
because
He
I
loves
love
pizza.
something that is called.
What's he gonna eat?
He's going to eat pizza.
Oh,
Yeah,
yummy.
but I love like, ¿cómo se dice? Algún plato? A
So
plate,
fish.
a dish that is called cheese
Mushroom.
with mushrooms fondue, something like
Fondue.
that. Yeah,
Good.
Okay.
favorite one.
Wonderful. That's great.
Here is Evelyn.
My
she
mom
wants-
wanted to say hi.
Hi,
Hi.
Evelyn.
¿Qué tal? Mucho gusto.
Nice to see you.
Gracias
Yanet.
por los
Say hi.
videos. ¿Tienes el video?
Ah,
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Yanet,
you
turn
for
your
the
camera
video.
on.
Yes, okay, wait a moment.
Wait a moment. ¡Ay, qué lindo!
Hola, ¿qué
¡Qué
tal?
gusto conocerte!
Gracias igualmente a todos.
Eres muy bella y guapa.
Ay, gracias igualmente. Y gracias
con
por
ga-
las canciones también. Ya me acordé que vi las
Yo
Sí,
con
sí,
ganas
sí.
de ir al Salvador para conocerlo y abrazarlos duro.
Gracias.
Feliz cumpleaños, mi amor, que cumplas muchos años más, todos los éxitos para ti. Grandes
gracias.
bendiciones.
Gracias.
With
Gracias.
mushrooms and green pepper in your pizza.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he loves
Sí.
pepper.
And to make a sin, a little pepperoni.
Pepperoni. Oh.
Yeah,
Ahí les mandamos un pedazo.
we send you a piece.
That's nice.
Oh,
Slice.
please, yes. We're going to come visit you. You'll bring us to the beach.
Yeah, yeah, for
Sí,
sure.
sí.
Here there are some beaches that are really, really nice. And
Oh, it'd be
beautiful.
wonderful to
And
plan.
always the water is warm.
Oh,
Oh, ay.
you'll tell us
no.
which hotel to
That's-
go to and we'll come.
Yeah, you are welcome.
Un día.
There's some, yeah, not really hotels. We rather to rent a place but yeah,
Okay.
it will be very nice.
Wouldn't that be nice, Janet?
Yes, we
Alejandro?
prepared the tree for us.
We'll go one
Yeah.
day. Yes.
Yeah.
Whoever wants to
You're
come.
welcome.
Yes.
Okay, well,
Gracias. Entiende en inglés. Español.
Yeah. No, sí, no.
Bueno,
Ya te
thank you
traduzco.
for the card. The birthday card.
the video.
The letter.
In all the years.
During the whole year. Okay. He's saying that thank you for the greetings in all the letters you sent. Yeah.
And the music, Janet. And the...
Amazing.
Gracias. Oh, tan
Yeah.
bella, qué bella.
Ah, no, ya
Yeah.
sabe español.
Sí, yeah,
Bueno, gracias.
Okay.
Okay.
Me retiro. Mucho gusto a todos.
Cuídate mucho. Bye.
Gracias igual.
Okay.
Bye. Have a
Shalom.
wonderful day.
Shalom.
Shabbat
Bye,
shalom.
everybody. Shabbat shalom. We'll see.
Bye.
We'll see you
Bye.
soon. God willing.
Amen.
Un
Amen.
pedacito de
Thank you for the video,
pizza.
Peggy. It was so funny.
It's okay.
Thank you for the video. It was funny.
It's cute. I know.
Yeah. Seeing my brother and sister dancing.
Yeah. It's fun. And your parents.
They don't like to dance. So
No?
yeah,
No.
but it is funny for me to see them.
Oh, yeah.
And
Good.
this week Paulo went to the hospital
Why?
just because he
I want to
was.
study medicine. So
Oh, good.
I have a friend of mine that is studying medicine right now. He's in 6th year.
Wow.
And he told me that I could go with him in a tour.
Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Only for the practice.
The whole night was
Yeah.
looking what they were doing,
I didn't
taking
sleep.
pressure. Yeah, he didn't sleep. So, but that was nice because I wanted to know if his stomach is prepared to be medic. Okay,
Yeah.
that's very important.
Yeah.
And what is behind of taking care of people, which is
Exactly.
not really something easy. Okay,
No.
you
No.
need to have hesed, compassion because
Yes.
of these people, and so much love from
Exactly.
innerds for these people.
And understand that we are holistic.
Yeah,
It's not just a drug or a surgery. We have a soul. There are other things that cause illness. That's very important when you
Yeah.
learn to be. So, well, if that's what where God is leading you, it's in the bag.
Yeah, sure.
okay.
Okay. Ciao.
Shalom.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao. Buenas
Bye,
Bye.
Moshe. Bye, Moshe.
Bye, Moshe.
Bye,
Bye, everybody.
amigos.
Bye, Etid. Have a good week. We'll see you soon. God willing. Bye.